Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share with you today how to create a traditional sunburst granny square. I've had several people leave comments when I show my granny square blankets asking if I have a tutorial online, and I often just say no, I haven't gotten around to making one yet, but they're out there if you just search them. But I thought today, since I had a few minutes, I would go ahead and create one and drop it here on my channel, just for anyone that wants to have another version online of how to make one of these really fun granny squares. What I often use, my hook size is a 5.5 mm hook. This is like my favorite one, actually. That I have numerous ones in the same size, but this one is my go-to. I like the ones with the more of a little bit of a grip and thicker handle. It's just kind of easier on the wrist over time, a little bit easier. And the yarn I'm going to be using, and that I do use quite often, is Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn. It's usually at least in the mix. If I don't use it throughout the whole center of the sunburst, I'm using it at least in one of the rounds. And then if you've been on my channel for even a few minutes, you'll know that I love to go around my sunburst in the middle in the Bernat Bundle Up yarn. It is super soft. There's really not pilling that you'll find in other yarns. It's actually a polyester, super soft polyester yarn, and but the center is usually acrylic unless I'm making just a whole different style, but this is kind of my go-to. So what you want to do is, first you'll need to create your slip knot. So I usually do it just by making my circle kind of like you're tying a shoelace in the beginning, and then I pull that center one up and I give it a little tug on my hook, and then I chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I yarn over and I go back in that first little loop there, and then I grab my yarn and pull up a loop. So now I'm going to have 3 on my hook. Let me just grab some extra yarn here so I'm not pulling as much. Okay, then I yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're actually going to continue doing that until you have 16 stitches, 16 loops all around the top. We'll count them off together. But what I just did again was I yarned over, went through that first loop there, pulled up yarn, going through 2, and then grabbing yarn and going through 2 more. That stitch is called a double crochet. Okay, and many of you probably already know that if you're familiar with if you're familiar with crochet, you have learned the double crochet. Single crochet and double crochet are the most, I think, used especially for beginners when crocheting. I know I'm going a little bit quicker here, just to kind of move along. It's the same, we're doing the same thing for basically about 16 times. What you're going to want to do throughout this first round of your sunburst, which is this center part, from time to time, you're going to want to grab your tail, that beginning part of your yarn, and I like to put 2 fingers here to kind of just keep things flat, and as if you're pulling to the back. Pull it, and it's going to grab your yarn and close that hole up a little bit. So when you go back to go through it, you might have to kind of find it a little bit with your hook there, but it keeps it from kind of getting close to the end and almost falling off, I find. So all right, so yarn over, go through that center, that first loop again, the first stitch, pull your yarn up, you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and continue, like I said, continue doing that about 16 times. Okay, let's just take a second and let me count here. Basically, when you start counting, when you're looking at that center little circle there, this counts as 1 stitch, this is 2, and then here you are at this top third. That's where you're going to start counting your 16 to see if you have 16 around. This is considered the top, the outside of the first round for your sunburst, okay? So we go up to that third stitch there, and we actually start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 completed, so I need to do about 5 more. 1, 2, and again, I have to tighten from time to time so it doesn't get too close to the end of that tail. 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to stop and I'm going to count again before I close it up to make sure that I have 16. So again, go to the top, which is basically a third stitch. Start at the center, 1, 2, 3. So that would be the top, and count around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and right next to the hook, not on the hook, but right next to it is 16. So I have 16. Now the way I close up my circle is a little bit different than some may, and I have no idea who taught me this online. Some wonderful crochet artist a year or more back. I watched she had an Instagram reel on, and she showed me how to not have like a bulky join. And basically you go to that top stitch, that 1, 2, 3, that one we've counted as number 1 in our round. Go on, so you still have this on your hook. Go under the first stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through. And once you have that there, I actually pull out lightly, and then I go to the back of that stitch under the second part, okay? I put it on my hook, and then I'm gonna reach over and grab that initial one that I left, okay? And I'm gonna pull that through to the back. No, wait 1 second. Did I just mess that up for you? Let's look at this again. Okay, so this is how it looks when you're ending, okay, when you're about to join. So I go under the first, pull through. Sorry, this is the part I missed because I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Pull all the way through, okay, all the way through. Then go to the back side. When you only went under the front, you go to the back side and go under both of those stitches now. And then you're gonna put this little loop around your hook, tighten it up a little bit by pulling your yarn, and then pull it through like under, okay? It creates a cleaner. Now I kind of toss this around to the back because I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to show you how to do that today too. So then put that yarn back around the back. Okay, so now since I'm going to switch to a different color because I wanted to show you that, I'm going to get my color here ready. I'm going to switch to this pink. I love this yarn. I'm going to lightly lay my yarn across my hook like this, and I'm going to pull it through, okay, to add that new color. Tighten up that last little bit of your first color you have, okay, to make it kind of disappear. And then you have 1 loop now, but we need to go 1 more for this next round, okay? And sometimes you're still going to have to go to that original tail in the center and tighten that circle back. All right, now for round 2, this puff stitch round, okay, we're going to yarn over and we're going to go under the 2 loops right at the base of your hook, okay, where we just did that join basically. Go under, pull up yarn. Then you don't do anything else other than grab some more yarn from your other hand, go back through both of them again, both of those stitches again, pull up some more, so that's 2. Okay, I did that twice. Now I'm going to grab my yarn and I'm going to pull through all of the loops, which you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. Okay, you're going to pull through all of them. Then you're going to close your puff stitch by yarning over and pulling through. Okay, so you have one loop on your hook now. Okay, and we're going to do that in the second. See the second stitch here? All right, so basically you're going to be creating 16 puff stitches all the way around. All right, you're going to go into the immediate next stitch. Okay, yarn over, go through, grab your yarn, pull it through that whole stitch there. Okay, the front and the back of that stitch, the whole stitch. All right, now we're going to yarn over, go through, grab your yarn, pull up another one. Now we're going to do it 3 times here, okay? Yarn over, go through, pull up. All right, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 loops here. I'm grabbing my yarn and I'm pulling through all of them. And then I'm pulling through to close off that puff stitch. Okay? So it matches up with the first because of that chain. It should appear to be just as puffy, all right, even though we did it 3 times here and 2 times here because of that initial chaining one over here. Okay, it created this little bulk here. All right, so let's create our 3rd puff stitch. Grab your yarn, go through that next stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, that's 1. Grab your yarn, go back through, the same one. Grab your yarn, pull it through, that's 2. Grab it again, go through, pull up your yarn, that's 3. Okay, so then we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to pull through all 7. Sometimes it can get a little stuck there, you just got to be a little loose. And then we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to pull it through to close off that puff stitch, okay? And we're going to keep doing that all the way around until we have 16 puff stitches. Okay, you're kind of counting by 16. You don't want to, oh, I just knocked my camera, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make you a little seasick there. Okay, so basically when you're going around, you'll know that if you have done your 3 here, if you have done, if you have 7 loops on your hook, okay? And each puff stitch all the way around. All right, so we're just going to do this together until we get to the end. Then we will count our puff stitches, make sure there's 16. We'll attach and we'll start our last part of our circle for our Sunburst Granny Square. Okay, some I think like to use size 6 mml hooks when they're creating their sunburst. It really depends on the thickness of the yarn that you're using. Some people create beautiful, really delicate, they use really thin yarn, and their sunbursts come out really much more petite. Mine are a little bit bigger and bulkier. My average size, I call it kind of like the baby blanket, stroller blanket. I use 20 granny squares typically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unless it's a specific, someone has specified a specific size, and they turn out to be roughly, 4, 5, 6, sorry, doing 2 things at once. 30 inches by 36 roundabout. My granny squares tend to be, when I use this size hook and this type of yarn, approximately 6 inches square. And 3. Okay, now I'm getting close to the end, and you should be able to see when you have one last one, it'll typically look like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you'll see where you have that last stitch is a little bit bulkier because it's near where our join was, so it's not going to look like all the rest per se, but it camouflages in once you kind of close your granny square up. And when you're going to want to flip it over from time to time and pull to tighten those loose ends up. And I kind of advise to not cut off. Don't cut your string off quite yet when you're changing colors, in case you realize, oh, I didn't have enough stitches after all, or something went wrong. You can just frog it, and you have not cut your string yet. It doesn't really tend to get in the way, so it'll be okay. All right, when you get to the end, you're going to eyeball and see basically where there's this top stitch. You just have one loop on your hook right now, and you're going to go under both of those front and back loops of that top stitch. Okay, then you're going to grab your yarn and pull through, and then pull through, okay, to close it up. All right, now I'm going to add a color. So I'm just going to drop this pink and let it hang, and I thought for fun I would toss in here this Premier, it's called the Just Yarn Teddy. It's just a fun texture, and just to show you kind of how it can work when you're adding a different type of texture yarn. Again, I do this all the time. I love my squares having a little bit of a different texture in different parts of the Sunburst. This is well, Joann's isn't around well, they're closing, but this is the Big Twist Party that I've talked about in some of my other tutorials that I love to use. And so it's a little bit different than these two acrylics are here, and it's definitely a little, it's soft like this last, what I use to go around in my Bernat bundle up, but I like the different textures. So we're gonna do this together here. So again, just drape it over your hook, leave a tail here, and then pull it through. Okay, so you have one, you're gonna pull through, and you'll have one loop on your hook, okay? And then we're gonna chain 2 this time, okay? Then we're gonna wrap it around the hook and then go through this hole right here, basically at the base of your hook, okay? Go through, grab your yarn, pull up, all right? And then we're gonna grab and yarn again, and we're gonna go through 2, all right? Just 2, so now you're gonna also have 2 left on your hook. Then we're gonna grab our yarn, go down through, we're gonna pull yarn up, and we're gonna go through 2 again, and we have 1, 2, 3 on our hook. Okay, if you can see those, it's fuzzy yarn, so it might be look a little bit different. Hope it wasn't a mistake to use that. Okay, and then I'm gonna go one more wrap. Okay, you're gonna go through, pull up another loop, grab your yarn, and pull through 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops in this first base hole here. Okay, I probably should have completely changed the color, but I hope you can see that pretty clearly there. Then you're gonna grab your yarn and you're gonna pull through all 3 or all 4, and then you're gonna chain 2, 1, 2, okay? So now though, since that was our base and our chain acted like our first start to it, we're gonna do that over here in the next hole right next to it, in between those puff stitches, all right? But we're actually gonna do it 1 extra time, okay? So yarn over, go through that hole, grab your yarn, pull it up, grab yarn, go through 2 of the loops on your hook, and now you still have 2 left, okay? And then you're gonna yarn over, go back through that same hole created between the two puff stitches, pull yarn through, grab yarn, pull through just 2. Now you have 1, 2, 3 loops. Grab yarn, go through, pull up, go through 2. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to do it to where we have 1 more on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. And that's going to be what you do at each one all the way around. Okay, you're going to want 5 loops on your hook before you grab yarn and pull through all 5. Grab yarn and chain 2. Okay, see how we have that here? Now when you add the last round, it's going to divide up those so you can see the flower, the sunburst, a little more clearly once I get that white color in there. All right, so then grab yarn, go through that other puff, between those other puff stitches right next to it, grab your yarn, pull through, grab yarn, pull through 2 loops, 2 are on the hook, grab yarn, go through 2 again, grab yarn, go through 2 again. Again, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4. I do it one last time because I want 5. Now I have 5. Then I grab my yarn and I pull through all 3. And I chain 2. Okay, and we're going to keep doing that to make 16 of these. All right, so I'm going to just do that with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, you're going between those puff stitches 4 times to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over and pull through all 5 and chain 2. So you're going to go through between the next puff stitches 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 2. Let's keep going. Between the next puff stitches, that's 1, that's 2. Once you start doing this and creating these a lot, that's 3. It's going to become so easy to kind of get the feel as you're going around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You won't need to count. I'm counting a lot more because I'm talking and distracting myself a bit. 1, 2. And again, when you're doing this, you're going under the 2 loops each time, just 2 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you get 5 on. Then you're pulling through all 5 and you're chaining 2. I need to get some extra out here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab my yarn, pull through all 5, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2, grab my yarn, go through the next puff stitches. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, grab my yarn, pull through all 5, chain 2. We're getting close to the end here. The fun thing about this is you can you can create a granny square that looks like a sunflower, that looks like a daisy, that's just completely solid, all one color, or you can just do some multicolor ones depending upon the theme of the blanket or who you're making it for. You can really create a very custom, unique look when you're using the Sunburst Granny Squares. I find them a lot of fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So sorry. Again, I'm getting talking and it's messing myself up. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab my yarn, pull over, go through all 5, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this yarn is so fun. It's super soft. I wish you could feel it. And it's just really fun adding a different texture to around for this granny square. You can also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also turn your granny squares into coasters. I have that in a video as well. I love doing that. I have sold a lot of coasters in markets. It's probably one of my biggest sellers. Depending upon the set size and all, I can sell them from, I guess the average is $10 or $12 if it's 2. If I sell 4, I definitely sell that for $20. 1, 2, 3, 4 typically, just to kind of give you an idea of 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's not necessarily the same as when I create a blanket. Okay, so now you want to count those and make sure you get to the end here and you see that there's no other empty spot between puff stitches because we're back at the front. So I should be able to count and have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And when it's not the fuzzy yarn, you can usually see it a little bit more clear, but you can definitely feel, you can put your fingers through the gaps. Okay, so now you want to take and go through the top, what's right next to the top stitch, all right, of your, oh, and again, I guess I should have picked a different yarn here for you to see it, but you go through that top stitch, okay, under the front and the back of it, pull yarn through. You're going to have 2 on your thing, on your hook, but you're going to want to keep going with that and pull it all the way through that original loop that was on your hook to close it off, okay? And so now we're done, our sunburst part, okay? And that's all I'm going to use of this fuzzy yarn and the other yarns. So I just kind of tend to pull it like this to give myself some extra there, because then you're going to weave it in. I'm not going to show you that in this video. I'm sure a lot of you already know how to weave in your ends, but leave some, cut, pull it all the way through, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off leaving some tails, the others that I had left. All right, so now I'm completely detached from my skeins of yarn. Okay, and then when I go to add in my favorite final round of yarn for my sunburst, oh, I am so sorry, I keep hitting my camera here. I like to not start right there. I kind of feel that if there's any, depending on what yarn you use, if there's any way to notice it's gonna, like where all your joins are, is if you keep starting in that same spot. So on my last round, once I cut it off and just leave that in to weave in later, I go back several stitches, several holes between. Okay, pick one of them. All right, just go back several. All right, pick one and then grab whatever yarn you're going to use. Again, unless you're not changing colors, and then you will keep going and it'll be easy. All right, and then just stick your hook right through. All right, and then grab that new yarn and pull through. Make sure you leave a decent tail to weave in. Okay, maybe not that long, but a couple inches or so, maybe 2.5 inches. All right, and pull up a loop, and then you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. okay? Then you're going to be doing some triple crochets, okay, by wrapping once, wrapping twice around your hook, going back through that same hole, grabbing yarn, pulling it up. Now pay close attention here. We want to grab some more yarn. We want to pull through 2. Then we're going to grab yarn again and we're going to pull through 2. And then we're going to grab yarn again and pull through the last 2. Okay? So counting the chain is 1 in this section. And then this is 2, the row that we just created. We're going to do that one more time in this one. All right? Wrap, wrap. Okay? Go down through, pull your yarn, pull up another loop. So you have 4 on here. Grab yarn, pull through 2, grab yarn, pull through 2, grab yarn, pull through 2. All right, and basically that is the start of a corner. It's a start of a corner, okay? Because the last, once we get all the way back around, you're going to be completing the final corner to close off your square, okay? Now we're going to find that hole between those last, they're not puffs, but I can kind of call them that here. Find that hole, basically. See how there's holes all the way through? If you feel it, you'll be able to feel that gap, okay? You're going to wrap once around your hook, go through, pull yarn up. Now you're doing a double crochet. So you're pulling through 2 loops and then pulling through 2, okay? And you're going to do that a total of 3 times. That was 1 in that same gap there. All right, that's 2. So you're doing 3 double crochets there, okay? All right, so that is actually this section right here. All right, to give you an idea, that would be this section right here. Now, we're going to wrap once and we're going to go to the next gap. Go through, pull, but this time you're going to grab your yarn and pull through all 3 loops, okay? Then you're going to grab yarn, go back through, then you're going to pull through all 3 loops, grab yarn, go through, and then pull through all 3 loops. You're going to do that 3 times there. Things are in 3s, okay? I'm sure you've noticed that. All right. So that is basically creating this squared off look, okay? So we did the triple crochet, then we did the double crochet, and then we pulled all the way through. Okay, so we're getting shorter, all right? Now we're going to do opposite. We're going to get wider over here, okay, or taller, however you want to look at it. So now we're going to wrap around our hook, go through that next, between those big, like that puff area there. Go through, pull up yarn, and this is your double crochet again. You're going to go on the other way. Grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab yarn, pull through 2. Double crochet. We're doing 3 of them in that same spot there. So that was 1. That's 2, that's 3. You know, you can always pause this video if I'm going too fast for you, or there's a spot, it looks like a little gear on YouTube. You can hit it and you can slow me down, or anybody else you're watching. You can click the 0.5 or point whatever it says to slow a person down. If you're watching tutorials, that helps as well at times. Otherwise, just pause, replay if you have to. All right, now we're on this, we're going to start of our corner here. So we're going to be doing a triple crochet, okay? So wrap it once, wrap it twice, go through the hole, grab your yarn, pull it up, grab yarn, go through 2, grab yarn, go through 2, grab yarn, go through 2, okay? And then we're going to do it again. Wrap it twice, go through. Again, we do things in 3s. Okay, now again, wrapping it again, twice, going down through, pulling up yarn, grabbing yarn, pulling through 2, grabbing yarn, pulling through 2, grabbing yarn, pulling through the last 2. Now, to make the square here, what we do is, once we do that last part there with the triple crochets we did there, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's going to create this gap here, all right, to square, because then we're going to kind of turn our sunburst, all right? So we have the chain 3, then we're wrapping it twice because we're creating another triple crochet. We're doing 3 triple crochets. You're going to have to hold it a little tighter because it's going to feel a little funny the first time there when you're just turning the corner. that's completely normal. Just kind of make sure your tension remains the same. That's one of the hardest things when you're first learning crochet, is to get your tension, realize how your tension is. Do you hold loose? Do you pull tighter? Sometimes you need to up your hook size or decrease your hook size depending on what comes natural to you to keep your stitching the same tension. All right, so we created that corner all in that same gap there. All right, now we're going to be going to the double crochet in the next, okay, 3 stitches by wrapping around, going through the hole, grabbing our yarn, pulling it up, grabbing our yarn, going through 2, grabbing our yarn, going through 2, the double crochet. We're doing that 3 times in that area there. Oh, I have a little knot. Sometimes that happens. Okay. All right, that's 2. That's 3. Okay, now we are on to the next. Find that next gap, wrap your yarn, go down through, grab your yarn, pull it up. We have 3, but this time remember we're grabbing it and we're pulling through all 3. Grab your yarn, go down through, pull up a loop. We have 3 on the hook, grab your yarn, pull through all 3. And again, pull through all 3. Okay, so over on this side, we just completed this stitch here. All right, for this side. Now we're going to do a double crochet in the next one with that gap there. Grab your yarn, go through, pull up your loop, grab yarn, go through. This is the double crochet, grab yarn, go through. That's 1. And 2. And 3. All right, now we're back to where we're creating our corner. Okay, so we're going to have a total of 6 here. All right, first 3, then chaining 3, and then the other 3. So wrap it for your triple crochet, wrap it 2 times, go down through, grab your yarn, pull it up, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. Okay, that's why they call it triple, because you're going 3 times pulling through. All right, wrap it once, wrap it twice, go down through, pull up a loop, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. Wrap it twice, go back down through the hole, grab yarn, pull up a loop, grab your yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. All right, so we did the triple crochet 3 times there, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now triple crochet 3 more times in that same spot to create the corner. Okay, sometimes your own yarn might get in your way and you just got to take a pause and fix that. Okay, so that's 2 I've done for this side of the corner. And then this is the 3rd one. Okay, sometimes it might start looking a little weird, but you're going to straighten it out and square it off to help yourself sometimes. Okay, give you that visual, make sure you're on track. Now here's back to double crochet in the next gap. Okay, grabbing your yarn, going through. All right, grab your yarn, go through, pull up a loop, grab your yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. Okay, for the double crochet. So I did that 3 times. Now here I am again in the middle, what I call the middle, where I grab my yarn, I go through that hole there, then I have 3 on the hook, grab my yarn, go through all 3. Okay, do that 3 times. Again, you can slow it down or you can pause the video if you need to. If I'm moving a little quick. Now we're back to the double crochet. Okay, in the next gap. All right, now we're over to our triple crochet. We're back to creating our corner. Wrap it twice, go down through, pull your yarn up, go through 2, and go through 2, grab yarn and go through the last 2. Wrap it twice, go down through, grab your yarn, then grab more yarn, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. And you'll know that you're right because you're going through 2 each time. So if you run out and you're not actually going through 2, you've done something wrong. So just frog it and fix that. Okay, so now chain 3, 1, 2, 3 to create the corner, wrap it twice, go back through that same hole and do a triple crochet. wrap it twice, same hole, and do that triple crochet. Again, you're doing things in thirds 3 times. Okay, now there's that corner. See, it's shaping up really pretty. Okay, now we're going to do a double crochet in the next gap, 3 of them. All right, now we have our center again. All right, we're yarn over, go through, and then pull through all 3. Go through, pull through all 3. Pull through all 3. Now we're back to the last double crochet before we close off our square. 3 double crochets here in that last gap. Then we'll be back around to the first where we had done, we completed our first triple crochet when we started this square, the ending of the square. All right, so wrap it twice. Oh, sorry. Wrap it twice. Go through where you started. You might need to be careful if that string is still hanging from if you switched colors. Okay, you're doing a triple crochet. So you're only doing 3 triple crochets because you already did the first one when we started it. All right. Now you're going to do the same thing though. You're going to still chain 3. And then now you're going to find the top. Find that top stitch. Once you did that chain 3, find the top stitch, go through the front and the back of it, just completely under it, grab yarn, and then pull it all the way through that one hook, that one loop that was on your hook. Now a lot of people stop here, but I actually go around, and I like to finish my squares off, is what I call it, by going around and doing a single little crochet all the way around. But you can stop here, especially if you're making a blanket. A lot of people just pull this all the way through. They cut their yarn and pull it all the way through, and then they weave in their ends. But what I tend to do once I do that, pulled that through, is I chain 1, and then I go in that through the top stitch there. I go under that stitch right next door. That's what I say, right next door. Pull it up, and then grab my yarn and pull through 2. Then I go to the next one, the next little loop, stitch beside it. I go under the front and the back, completely under it, grab my yarn, pull it up where I have 2 on the hook, grab yarn, and pull through both. So I single crochet all the way around, okay, in each stitch, because I think it gives a much more finished look, especially if you are creating coasters and your granny square, your Sunburst Granny Square, is going to stand alone. I think that it makes it look just a lot nicer, really. Honestly, it just gives it that extra detail. When you get to the corner, you actually go in once and twice. You're just going in that complete big hole there, and then you'll see the stitch right here, right up against that corner. Go under it, grab your yarn, and then turn it, and you're on that next side there. See that side? It kind of finishes it off just a little bit more of a detail. I go all the way around it. I just join over here by going under the stitch over here. When I get there, I'm pulling the yarn all the way through and then weaving in my ends, and then gets me a nice little granny square that looks like this. The Sunburst. I hope today's tutorial helped you. Again, there are other crochet artists on here that you can find. That's tutorial you may find helps you even more. But happy crocheting, everyone. Thanks for being here. And if you like tutorials on crochet, if you like inspiration videos and things like that, please like and subscribe. It's free. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't really mean anything. It just means stuff to us as the creators of the video. It's a blessing. So if you just like and subscribe, I appreciate it. But most of all, I hope that this helps you, and I hope that you have fun creating your own sunbursts. Happy crocheting. Bye-bye.